Do you like making videos?
No, I don't.
Why do you want to make videos?
To help with education, because too much of what is out there is nonsense, and not enough people speaking into the void the truth of what we do. And as a small farmer, there's very little more frustrating than that.
Soles of my shoes are worn, the knees of my jeans are torn. Sweat coming through my shirt, keep pushing even though it hurts. I'm chasing what I know is true. There's nothing that I
as promised, we're going to talk about pastured poultry and the different terminologies and things you hear out there, and in general what kinds of poultry. As you can see, pastured poultry is not on here, but this encompasses all but one version, and we'll get into that. So this is your conventional poultry barn. These can be all kinds of different sizes. You see some laying operations or broiler operations that have multiple hundreds of thousands of birds in them. That would be a pretty big barn, but they do exist. In this type of operation where the birds are never outside, they have some airflow and stuff through there because they have to, and they're just fed and lights on 24/7 sort of deal. That encompasses all of your conventional birds. So like this will be your cage birds for egg laying, for example. There's probably some examples of broiler chickens that are raised in cages, but for the most part, they're just running around on the floor. Cage free, still the same barn, it's just no cages, and they're all running around on the floor, can barely move because they're crammed in there so tight. It's not really any better. It just makes you feel better when you buy eggs, when you're trying to figure out what is better. And the same thing even for organic. So the only difference between these two and organic is what type of feed they give them. It's still the same barn and still has the same inherent issues. We're going to get into a couple more as well that you see in the store and have kind of got buzzwords and really good marketing. So what we're going to do is erase these two, and we're going to talk about free range and pasture raised, or at least what most people think is pasture raised. And it's been marketed as so. So what you have is you have this conventional barn, and you see in the store different brands, different companies. It doesn't really matter. They all operate the same way and same essentially conventional. So you have free range, you have pasture raised. So they have the same barn. Their difference is this. That's it. They got two little doors so the birds can go outside, or maybe even multiple, maybe even one door. There's no regulation or anything on it, and to them it doesn't really matter. They just want you to believe that all their birds can go run out and do whatever they want out in the grass, and that's what their pictures look like too when they advertise it. But what you need to realize is if you're running thousands and thousands of birds in here and the barn never moves, all of this out here is not grass. It's a mud pit. It's a dirt lot. It looks like the surface of the moon. Birds are not actually getting out in the grass. They're not getting to experience what they market to you, right? So that's not truly getting what you think you're getting. You see this really common with 108 square foot models. That was the marketing done. That's not a regulation. That's marketing terminology. And the other thing you'll see as well is they advertise the color of their egg yolks. And people, it's been done for so many years now that folks think that really is a great indication of how good the eggs are. And it can be if you're actually running them on a pasture and they're able to forage, they will get darker colored yolks. But that's not possible to have perfect, consistent dark colored yolks, especially in a system such as this. So they're giving marigold meal in their feed, basically giving them a fake orange yolk to make it look like they've been out on the pasture. And it's fairly manipulative and confusing to the consumers. So what's the alternative? You know, that's pretty much everything you see in the store. The alternative is a true pasture-raised operation, or what I would call a pasture-raised operation. If you go to getrealchicken.com, they do a good job of explaining this as well on top of what I'm going to show you. So what it is birds living on pasture. What a novel idea. So my really poor drawing looks, my daughters could probably do better, but you get the idea. You have this structure and the birds can come out of it, and it's on wheels or on sleds, whatever, and it can move around. And this will have nesting boxes in it, probably food and water, and you could have food and water outside. And you put up like a poultry net around it for their protection. So this will be electrified to protect them. And so the birds can go out and they're on the pasture every day eating, and being able to do the things that you would think they would do, with being out in nature, being fed good food. And then what we do, and this is the part that is the biggest deal and why it's truly regenerative, and you can't have a regenerative bird barn because it doesn't move. So you end up with denuded ground, which is just dirt where all the vegetation has been removed, and of course that's not going to be regenerative. So what you do is you have this here. We'll do another drawing. You have this here one day, right? This is going to be our little square where our poultry net is. And imagine our whatever apparatus we have in here, chicken tractor, whatever. You have this here one day, and then you have it there the next day. They can't get back here to where their poop is, or the destroyed soil, or anything like that they've turned up, if they have. And so this gets to rest and regenerate. Key word there. If it can't rest and come back, it's not regenerating. You can't do that in the barn I showed you earlier. And then again, the same sort of deal here. Move it to the next place. And you move it to the next place. And you keep moving. And you're regenerating this field over and over and over again. So you can see how that can be confusing, because no doubt you've seen the advertisements, you've seen things of that nature online, even, I mean, very well funded and well done marketing, claiming to be BS free, which is one of my favorites, and all natural, and all these things that don't actually mean anything but sound really good on marketing. That's what you get used to, and that's what you get confused by. So when you have small farmers like us that are members of the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association, it gets frustrating because we have really educated customers, or at least they think they are, and then they come to the market and we have to re-educate them. Because unfortunately, what they think they know is often marketing. And we talk about it back and forth with other farmers and customers, and they ask, well, why isn't it regulated? Why can't we get it regulated to fix this? Unfortunately, I don't think regulation would fix it, because farmers like me are not really going to be at that table to help with the regulation. And I don't think it would help us. It would just make a new way to change something. So for example, you had that poultry barn earlier. They had a free range, pasture raised, 108 square foot model. If pasture raised got regulated, all they'd have to do is rename their product and call it prairie raised. Now they have a new word that no longer has a regulation on it that means nothing, but they can manipulate with it. So it doesn't do any good. So the only way that you ever truly know what you're getting, what's the name of your farmer? Where do they farm? How do they farm? What do they feed their animals? I mean, if you don't know these things, you don't know what you're buying. It's that simple. There is no, what label should I buy? What should I look for? It's, who's your farmer? How do they do it? That's it. There's no other way. Well, when you go to a farmer like us, we use chicken tractors and such, and we make the birds move every day to make it stay regenerative, to make the birds go on to new grass, to eat the bugs. We can do another one talking about broiler chickens where it's very similar. The key note to remember in today's talk and when you're looking at pasture raised, it means primarily one thing: movement. If they don't move, it's not pasture raised. And that movement is the entire infrastructure, not just a bird or a pig or whatever walking in the field. They have to be moved from paddock to paddock. Otherwise, it's not pasture raised. Everything. All right, so that's it for Tuesday. Hopefully this is not too long. I could ramble on forever, anybody that knows me talking about this, but I'll pick up next week. Thanks, guys.
Bloopers.
3, 2, 1, action.
It wouldn't match my shirt to explain away. Okay. So you're already filming? No.
It can be edited.
No.
You're trying to do a one take?
Yeah, I reckon so. Anyways, welcome to Takeover Tuesday. Hold on. You pulled your finger out. I don't know what to do.